6.86 miles, 7 minutes, 58 seconds per mile. Overall feeling really good out there today. Had a little bit of an unusual day, deviated from my regular routine just a little bit. I had a meeting out in the suburbs that I had to go to, and whenever I do that, I have to get a car and drive out there and all that stuff, and I have to plan my day around traffic. So I figured I would just, with the time of the day that the meeting was, I figured I would just work the morning from home. And because as much as I love cold weather running, I also love running during daylight. And so what I did was I shifted all the work that I was going to do from home in the morning to my regular, like my very early morning stuff, like before I drop off the girls. And then I went for my run after dropping off the girls. So it was a little bit of a switch up. Normally I run either at the end of the day for my run commute or at the beginning of the day before the girls wake up, before I have to get anyone ready for school. I wanted to have a relaxed day. I'm in the taper now for the Indianapolis Marathon, which is coming up very soon. And I just wanted to get out there, get some miles and enjoy some sunlight. To the extent that we have sunlight, the days are getting much shorter. And so I really appreciated that. But it kind of almost felt like I was like a stay-at-home dad for the day, because I got up, things were relatively relaxed. I wasn't in as much of a rush because I wasn't coming home from a run, getting showered up, and then trying to make sure everyone's up and awake. My wife does help substantially in terms of getting the girls ready for work in the morning, so it's not like I'm doing it all. I'm not trying to say that, but the beginning of the day and the ends of the day are always very stressful. Today it was a lot less stressful. I wore kind of what I was going to wear for the run to drop off the girls, although I did have an extra layer on top just because it gets cold, and then I had a running pack with me so that way I could put that stuff in a bag and then run immediately after. So I kind of had my running stuff on the bus, dropped off the baby at her daycare, dropped off my daughter at kindergarten or first grade, still getting used to that even though we're halfway through the year. Dropped her off at first grade, and then went for my run, and it was nice. Everything was super relaxed. There was this one little portion where there was a guy that I'd kind of come across. I'd come up to him very gradually. I was kind of chugging along at like 8:20, 8:30 minute miles. And as soon as I got to him, he started picking up the pace and kept up with me. And we were like shoulder to shoulder for probably like 100 meters or so. And then at that point, I was like, this is just kind of weird. This is not the way you secret race on the Lakefront Trail. And so I just turned it on, and for about like half a mile or so, maybe a little longer, I ran a little bit faster. That mile came in at 7:20. And yeah, I just thought it was weird that he was doing that. So it's like kind of creepy. So I did that, but it felt good. Felt good to get kind of the legs moving. I've found that as I taper, as I'm reducing the mileage, no more long runs, keeping it shorter, keeping it more relaxed, still having a little portion in the run where I can get the legs turned over quickly, makes me feel good mentally, and I think makes my body feel good. So I'm going to keep kind of doing that, although I'll probably try and do that less and less as we get even closer into the final week before the Indy Marathon. That'll be on November 3rd. But the kind of the main thing, the secret racing aside, that I kind of like took away from the run today is, what if every day could be like this? That would be kind of cool. The last month has been phenomenal in terms of growth, views, subscribers. Everything has been great. It's been so great to have you guys here, and especially to have the people that have been watching for a long time to have seen that with me, because I think you've noticed kind of the same things, and it's been surprising for me as well. But it also has me thinking, at what point does it become enough that I can do this full time? And it's something that has never been an outright goal of mine for this channel. I've always kind of thought the value proposition for this channel is that I'm a regular guy that runs and has a job and has a family and has to handle all these other things. But as I start to think about bigger projects that I'd like to do, bigger videos that I'd like to make, things that I love the daily run video, and that's always going to be a staple. But there's other bigger things that I'd like to also try. And so that's going to take just more coordination and more effort. And then also starting to manage all this. Like, you guys are so great with comments, and you guys are interacting with me on Instagram, on Twitter, and it's been amazing there. But it is starting to take a lot of time. And so at some point, hopefully, it'll be more of a real consideration. I'm not going pro now. I'll still keep my day job. But it's something that my wife and I have talked about in the past. And not just because of the YouTube channel, but for my just regular job as well. Even before we had our first child, 6.5, almost 7 years ago, as should I stay at home? And so it's something that's always kind of been in the mind. The time isn't right for that now. Although the money that the channel is generating is getting to a point where I can start to have instead of having imaginary discussions like, oh, wouldn't it be great if, I can start thinking in terms of, well, if it continues on this trajectory, and I know it won't, because the Chicago Marathon, I think, is going to be the peak. I think every YouTube channel kind of has its 1 or 2 big events a year where most of the views come, or not most, but a big chunk of the views come. And for me, I think for this channel, I think the Chicago Marathon is it. And so, of course, there's going to be a drop off, especially there's going to be a lull, as a lot of people aren't as interested in running in like November, December, January, February. But, we can start thinking like, if things continue on the yearly trajectory, at some point, does it make sense to make less money? That obviously be making less money, but to be happier. The main thing being, and always the discussion between my wife and I in terms of whether I should stop working is, and not that if I went full-time YouTube that would be stopping working, but if I was to stop my day job, would be that, on the one hand, I wouldn't have the opportunity to kind of go out there and build my business and try and succeed in that arena and gain fulfillment from my work. But on the other hand, then my focus of my daily life would be setting us up when we're all apart, so that when we're together, we can maximize that time. And so my wife would still have to work, and my kids would still have to go to school, and we'd be apart for several hours during the day. But during those hours, what can I do here in this messy house in terms of getting food cooked for us, in terms of making sure things are clean and ready? I'd love to be able to set it up so that way everything's ready to go when we're all finally back together. And so I just feel like I can help out a lot in terms of making my wife's life not just easier, but I think more fulfilling. And so she really enjoys her work, and she's definitely one of those people where I think that if she didn't work, she would go insane. Not because she needs the time away. That's not it. She just needs like that other area of fulfillment. And I can certainly understand that. As a guy who has a full-time job and a very demanding hobby, I can certainly understand needing a different area or a different space where you can challenge yourself and grow, that's your own, and gain fulfillment. And so that's something that has not really been a consideration for me and my wife, that my wife would stay home. It's always been kind of whether I would stay home. And the ironic thing is, for all of my friends, I'm always kind of pushing you should just be a stay-at-home dad kind of idea, but I would never... it's not that I don't take my own advice, but I've never really pushed myself as hard as I kind of encourage my friends. Maybe I'm just kind of trying to live vicariously through them. But so that's kind of the thing, is that certainly we can outsource all those things. We could, call in takeout every day. We can hire maids. We could do Peapod. We could get groceries delivered. We could do all those things and outsource all those things. But I think that to have a person that's a part of the family to be able to take care of that and cook the food that she would take, instead of her, buying food at lunch and getting whatever's available downtown, as in terms of fast food, even as good as fast food has been getting lately, to be able to take care of her that way and make sure that the girls have everything they need, that they can get to activities, and they're not spending so much time in the after-school care. All those things kind of are all part of the calculus. The ultimate takeaway is that the time isn't right for that now. I don't know that the time will ever be right for me to go full-time on YouTube, but it's always something to think about. Ultimately, the question is, what do you want and what is enough, right? And some of those a lot of the times those things aren't connected. And so what do I want is I want to kind of maximize the time that my family, not maximize in terms of having the most amount of time that my family can all be together and enjoy each other's time, but maximize in terms of like the maximal utility. Like instead of us getting together and having a Saturday, we're like, all right, guys, we're going to spend all Saturday cleaning through the house and getting rid of some old toys. Not that those are bad activities, and those are useful activities, and those are important like teaching moments for children. But instead of having to spend a day on the weekend with doing chores, getting groceries and stuff, we could be doing other things that are more enriching in terms of our family time, as limited as it's going to be. And so that's what I want to maximize. And how much is enough is how much money do I need to make to be able to make that happen. And it's I'm already past that number, right? And so like, not in terms of the YouTube channel, but like with my work, I'm doing okay. And so like, and with my wife's work, I can certainly stop anytime I wanted to. But there's still some other things, and I've talked to my wife about it a lot too. I think it's a lot of ego, is I don't want to leave my business at the state it's currently in. I also like what I do for a living as well. And so that's like the other thing, is like I would be giving up something that I do enjoy. And so there's always things in the air that you have to consider. And so right now things are going to stay the course. And, there's no like neat bow to wrap around this discussion. But I just want to let you know kind of what I was thinking, because I just did have a very like taste, a really nice taste of what that other side might look like. And I know there's, the grass is always greener on the other side, that kind of thing. There's negatives to that lifestyle too. But, it was pretty nice to visit, for a day. And then I did have to go and get a car and drive out to the suburbs. And I spent, for a 2-hour meeting in the suburbs, I spent 3.5 hours in the car driving. So that wasn't great. But, that's just, part of my job. Before I go, I do want to talk about the charity runner for the day. For those of you who are new, what I want to do is I want to donate $5 a day to a different charity runner every day. Today's charity runner is Kriz, and she's running for the Success Academy charter schools. She's raising money as part of a team for the New York City Marathon. That's coming right up. It's the same weekend as the marathon that I'm running. Her fundraising goals, she's pretty close, I think. Check out her website, check out her fundraising link to get more information about why she's running. It's pretty awesome. Anytime you can run for kids and helping kids out, I think is a great cause. So let's make sure that she can get there. So if you want to check out her link, I had to put down 10. I normally try to put down $5 on it. I had to put down 10 for a day, because there's some websites where the minimum is $10. So when that happens, I'll put in the 10. I'm trying to donate at least 5, but if I have to, I'll put in the 10 for the minimum every day. So it's not like I won't if you guys have different minimums. So feel free to send me your information. Good luck to Kelly. I hope you do well on your marathon coming right up. So that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?